Hello dear students, we'll be continuing with the same chapter, biomolecules. I'm using a pen and paper method. I feel this is convenient to you and it saves a lot of time actually. So we can complete the chapter soon. Uh, Here I had already discussed some of the concepts in the classroom itself from the chapter biomolecules. You know the definition of it. It's nothing but complex organic compounds present in a living organism which play an important role in their metabolism as well as physiological process called as biomolecules. Bio life molecules, complex organic compounds, that's it. Ultimately, the organic compounds present in the living organism which play an important role in the metabolism as well as physiological process, that is biomolecule. Okay, so we discussed about the chemical analysis of the composition in a living organism, that is a trichloroacetic acid method as well as ash method. You know that, no need to discuss about it. The biomolecules, some examples are amino acids, we have already discussed. Polysaccharides we discussed. I think I did not discuss the polysaccharide. I'll discuss about it. Okay, so here, if the biomolecules weighs more than 1000 daltons, so I'll just start with that word, that is, if any biomolecules, the biomolecules weighs more than 1000 daltons, daltons, if it is molecular weight is more than 1000 daltons, then they are called as macromolecules. Okay, so I'm going to discuss with biomacromolecules, which comes under biomolecule itself. In our body, you see biomacromolecules. What are they? There are three different types of biomacromolecules. The first one will just write the nucleic acid, DNA, RNA are the nucleic acids found in the body of living organism. The second one is the important biomacromolecule is the protein. There are so many different types of proteins in the body. Okay, so for example, antibodies. Okay, that is also a protein. Even hormones, enzymes, everything, they are proteins. Okay, even collagen, intracellular ground matrix substance, that is also a protein. Okay, and even let me just write lipid. Even though the lipid is less than 1000 daltons, that is their molecular weight is less than 1000 daltons, but still they are biomacromolecules. Okay, just note this point actually. So these are the three important things which comes under biomacromolecules. First I'm going to deal with the protein now. The protein, very important. Please note each and every point whatever I explain here. So we just use red color for our first biomacromolecule, that is protein. So simple. What is protein? Protein is nothing but it is a long heteropolymer. Write this point. Heteropolymer. So what is polymer? Polymer is a chain, long chain. Hetero means different. Is it different, a long chain? No. A long chain consists of different types of amino acid. That is nothing but heteropolymer. Okay, so which is also can be called as, the protein can also be called as polypeptide chain. Polypeptide chain. So I can call this as polypeptide chain. Why? Because if you take the heteropolymer chain, these amino acids, different types of amino acids are linked by the peptide bond. That's it. So it is a polypeptide. Many peptide bonds are there. Okay, so we'll see that. So for example, you take this as one amino acid. We'll give a name to it. Let us say like glycine. So this amino acid is now glycine. Okay, and now I'm going to write one more block. Let us just name it as tryptophan. We just write one more block. We just name it as serine. Okay, we just write one more block and we just name it as glutamic acid. Okay, so GL, glutamic acid. And this is this, how many are there total? 4 are there, and all 4 are different types of amino acids, correct? And they are now linked. See, they are linked by a bond. What is this bond? This bond is called as the peptide bond. What is this peptide bond chemically? Chemically, a peptide bond is covalent bond. Okay, you are not supposed to write covalent bond, you have to write peptide bond, but it is nothing but covalent bond. Okay, so peptide bond is nothing but covalent bond. Okay, so you could see different types of amino acids ultimately linked by the peptide bond, making it a polypeptide chain. Now this is polypeptide chain, and can I call this as heteropolymer? Yes. Why? Because there are 4 different types of amino acids. Hetero, different types of amino acid, and a polymer, a long chain. That's it. And if you recall the analysis of chemical composition in the classroom, I had discussed two important experiments. The first one is trichloroacetic acid method. The second one is ash method. Do you recall it? Yes. Do you remember that? Yes. The first one, trichloroacetic acid method, you have to take trichloroacetic acid. Can I write here? CCl3 CCOOH. So this is trichloroacetic acid, which is mixed with a living tissue. It can take any tissue from your body, and then you need to grind it in the mortar and pestle, and after that, like, you have to strain it, put it inside a test tube. You get a liquid that is filtrate. Correct. The liquid contains two fractions. The one fraction is called as acid soluble fraction. The other fraction is called as acid insoluble fraction. So now this is protein, which is a biomacromolecule, which is found in, I'll just use the red color itself, which is found in acid insoluble fraction. Please note this point. So protein is found in acid insoluble fraction, not in acid soluble fraction. In the acid soluble fraction, you see simpler biomolecules like amino acids, not proteins. Even though amino acid is present in this protein, but ultimately they are linked to make a long, big structure, big compound. That's it. Okay, that is seen in acid insoluble fraction. Got it? So this is simple introduction of the protein. Okay. We all know that protein is nothing but, mainly contains amino acids. Correct. Okay, so just let me write amino acid. I had already discussed everything regarding amino acids. Hope you remember that. Okay, but let me just tell you, amino acid can be categorized into two types. What is it? First one is essential amino acid. The second one is non-essential amino acid. Okay, so this is classified based on the requirement, or sometimes it is not required. Okay, so based on that, we can classify the amino acid into two types. Remember that these are the two types of amino acids are very important for your metabolism process. Okay, what is this essential amino acid? These are the amino acid which has to be taken in the form of food. So you need to take in the form of food into your body. Got it? So you are supplying amino acid from outside. So we'll write it. So essential, they are essential. What is non-essential? Here, the body is able to produce amino acids during metabolism process. Okay, body itself produces amino acids. So it is not required to take the amino acid from outside, like in the form of food or through food. Okay, so body can produce it. So body produces it. Hence it is called as non-essential. Got it? So this is what the two types of amino acids, essential and non-essential amino acid. Please note this point. Okay, now let us talk about the structure of the protein. Very, very important. Let me just write here. Very, very important. So protein structure. Okay, if you had a board examination, obviously this question would have been asked like for 5 marks, explain the structure of proteins, but this is only for NEET now, only for competitive part. Okay, so structure, we'll just go with the protein structure. The first structure, it has got 4 structures, only 4 structures. The first one is primary structure, second one is secondary structure, third one is tertiary structure, fourth one is quaternary structure. It's very easy, right? Primary, secondary, tertiary, quaternary. Okay, so first one, let me write here, primary structure. Okay, primary structure. What is this primary structure? It is the first and the simplest form of structures of a protein. Okay, you normally don't see primary structured protein actually in the body, but let me just tell you what is this primary structure. Very simple. This is one amino acid, another amino acid, another amino acid, another amino acid, another amino acid. There are so many amino acids actually, but in the entire world there are only 20 different amino acids are there. Okay, so here in a protein it could be more than 100. What does it mean? Out of 20 amino acids, they are repeated in a different manner, and you could see a more number of amino acids in a polypeptide chain of a protein. Okay, hence it is heteropolymer also. Okay, so fine. So here this structure of a protein is very simple, right? It's a simple polypeptide chain. Yes. Okay, so this is the first amino acid. So let me just number it: 1 first amino acid, second amino acid, third, fourth, fifth, it can go. Okay, we'll put the other one sixth. Okay, we can put one more, that is 7. So this protein polypeptide chain contains 7 amino acid. Okay, this is the first one. Where exactly it is situated? On the left side, right? So left side. And this is the last amino acid in a polypeptide chain, that is the 7th one. Where it is situated? On the right side. Okay, left side, right side. So the first amino acid which is situated on the left side is called as C-terminal. Please note this point. C-terminal is the first amino acid which is situated on the left side of the polypeptide chain. This one, the last amino acid on the right side, the last one, that is called as N. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake here. This is N-terminal, not C-terminal. N-terminal, and this one is C-terminal. C-terminal. Okay, I'm sorry for that. Okay, so NC. Simple. The first amino acid is called as N amino acid or N-terminal amino acid. The last amino acid is called as C-terminal amino acid. That's it. Okay, so this is the primary structure. How it looks? It looks like a line. Yes, it looks like a line. So line can also be written as linear. Yes, so primary structure is nothing but it is linear structure. So a polypeptide chain is linear, so it is linear structure, and they are also coiled. Actually, if we check it, how exactly they are arranged, it looks like this. See, this is right-handedly coiled. See, but still it looks like a line. Okay, so this is actually the linear structure. Linear structure, they are right-handedly coiled. Handedly coiled. Got it? They are right-handedly coiled actually. So what you call for this terminal? N-terminal, and this is C-terminal. So this is primary structure. Done. Okay, we go to the next one, that is the second structure of the protein. So we write here, that is secondary structure. Okay, I hope you are all safe. So be careful. You might to have a bit of cold and you can notice my voice. Okay, fine. So linear structure, secondary structure. What is this secondary structure? It's very simple. Before that, let me just tell you, secondary structure is mainly of 3 types. Okay, so we can again classify the secondary structure into 3 types. Let me put small a here. What is this first one? Alpha helix, first one, and second one is beta helix. It is also called as beta pleated structure. Third one is collagen sheath helix. See, so secondary structure can be classified or divided into 3 types: alpha helix, beta helix, collagen sheath helix. Okay, fine. So what is this secondary structure? Okay, so we just go with alpha helix actually, so we can easily understand. Secondary structure means here, if we take the primary structure, how many polypeptide chains are there? Only one, right? Only one. Secondary means it should be more than one. So alpha helix contains 2 polypeptide chain. Write it down. Beta helix contain more than 2, so 3 or more polypeptide chain. Collagen helix is maximum, many. Okay, so let me just write 3 or above, more than 3, collagen sheath helix. Okay, so it is nothing but how many polypeptide chains are there and how they are arranged, what type of bond is present. We know that simple bond is between the 2 amino acid is peptide bond, which is nothing but covalent bond. I have written here. Okay, so secondary structure here, let me just give you the structure. So I'm going to draw the primary structure of the protein. This is one primary structure, N-terminal, and this is C-terminal. Okay, now I take the green pen and I'll draw one more here just below this. So this is also N and C. How many polypeptides are there? 2 are there. Okay, so this is alpha helix, 2 polypeptide chains. And interestingly, there is, obviously we know that in a polypeptide chain many peptide bonds are there, but between the 2 polypeptide chain, both are held together like this. They are held together tightly by another bond that is called as hydrogen bond, H bonds. Note this point, that is seen in alpha helix. Okay, so we go to the beta helix. We'll go first. The beta helix is also similar. Now beta helix, this is alpha, so beta. Again I'm going to draw one polypeptide. Okay, so we just draw another polypeptide, and we just will go with another polypeptide somewhere else here. So how many are there? 3 are there. And again here, these, we just use the black one. Again, these are linked actually by hydrogen sulfide bonds. First one is hydrogen bond, second one is hydrogen sulfide bonds. That's it. Okay, ultimately, like, as the number of polypeptide chains are linked by these hydrogen sulfide bonds, obviously increases the durability, and also, like, it gives more strength to a protein. That's it. This one is the weak protein, and here the strength of the protein is increasing. Okay, that means the work also is increasing. Like what we say, the protein is mainly made for some complex function in the body. So secondary structure. So this is what the thing. Collagen sheath is also same, but here it is not like regular. Okay, so this is one polypeptide, this is another polypeptide. Okay, so this is another polypeptide. Okay, so we just go with another. See, like this. It's very, very difficult now to see a protein properly, because because there are so many polypeptides are there. Got it? Again, they are linked by hydrogen sulfide bonds. This is collagen sheath helix. Simple. Got it? More than 3 polypeptides. That is collagen sheath. Done. So this is secondary structure. We go to the next, that is the third structure of the protein. We'll just write the third structure here. That is our tertiary. What is the meaning of tertiary? 3. Third one, tertiary structure. So what is this tertiary structure? Tertiary structure is nothing but if you see simple polypeptide. I think okay, fine. No need to confuse you here. So tertiary structure here, let me just give you the diagram. This is N-terminal, that is the first amino acid, and see here, this is the polypeptide chain. Many are there, not one, many are there. How it looks, very complex, right? Very, very complex. And this is the last amino acid, and what should I write here? C, N, C. See, it's like a highly tangled structure, correct? Okay, so this is tertiary structure. How it looks, this is important for your need. It looks like this, hollow woolen ball. Yes, right, it looks like a woolen ball which is hollow. We could see the gaps actually. So that is tertiary structure. Done. Okay, we go to the last structure, that is the fourth structure, that is called as quaternary structure. Yes, right, the quaternary structure. Okay, so this should be easy for you. If you have already studied the hemoglobin structure, then it should be easy for you. Quaternary structure. So what is hemoglobin structure? Okay, so we simply write, this is one polypeptide chain. Okay, so this is another polypeptide chain. Okay, this is another polypeptide chain. Okay, and this is another polypeptide chain. How many are there? Total 4 polypeptide chains are there, correct? So that is quaternary structure. Okay, so here if I just show you, we are using red color, and this one, this is the first polypeptide chain, which is called as beta chain. Okay, and this one is the another beta chain, and this one is actually called as alpha chain. This is also alpha chain. So it's very simple. We have got 2 alpha plus 2 beta chains, correct? 2 alpha chains and 2 beta polypeptide chains are there in a protein, which is called as quaternary structure. What is the good example for this quaternary structure? We just write here HB. What is it? Hemoglobin. Simple. So two beta chains, 2 alpha chains ultimately make 1 hemoglobin molecule, correct? Okay, so that is quaternary structure. Done. So this is what you have studied or learned, the 4 different structures of a protein. Hope you understood this. Okay, if I just explain it in Kannada, see, ನಾವು ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ಸ್ನ 4 ವಿಧದಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ಗೆ ನಾವೇನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಯಾಕೆ? ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಲಿಪೆಪ್ಟೈಡ್ ಚೈನ್ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಅಮೈನೋ ಆಸಿಡ್ಗೆ ನಾವೇನು ಕರಿತೀವಿ? ಎನ್ ಟರ್ಮಿನಲ್ ಅಮೈನೋ ಆಸಿಡ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಕೊನೆಯ ಅಮೈನೋ ಆಸಿಡ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಕರಿತೀವಿ? ಸಿ ಟರ್ಮಿನಲ್ ಅಮೈನೋ ಆಸಿಡ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಅದು ನೋಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಗಿದೆ? ಒಂದು ಲಾಂಗ್ ಚೈನ್ ಥರ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಮೆನಿ ಅಮೈನೋ ಆಸಿಡ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ, ಒಂದು ಲಾಂಗ್ ಚೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಸೆಕೆಂಡರಿ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ 3 ಭಾಗ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಆಲ್ಫಾ ಹೆಲಿಕ್ಸ್, ಬೀಟಾ ಹೆಲಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಕೊಲಾಜನ್ ಶೀತ್ ಹೆಲಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ಫಾ ಹೆಲಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು, 2 ಪಾಲಿಪೆಪ್ಟೈಡ್ ಚೈನು, ಎರಡನ್ನೂ ಯಾವುದರಿಂದ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡಲಾಗಿದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ಬಾಂಡ್ಸಿಂದ ಮಾಡಲಾಗಿದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ 3 ಪಾಲಿಪೆಪ್ಟೈಡ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಅಗೇನ್ ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ಸಲ್ಫೈಡ್ ಬಾಂಡ್ಸು 3 ಪಾಲಿಪೆಪ್ಟೈಡನ್ನು ಗಟ್ಟಿಯಾಗಿ ಹಿಡಿದುಕೊಂಡಿದೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಬೀಟಾ ಹೆಲಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ 3 ಅಥವಾ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಪಾಲಿಪೆಪ್ಟೈಡ್ ಚೈನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಅದು ಕೊಲಾಜಿನ್ ಶೀತ್ ಹೆಲಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ. ಈ 3 ಅಥವಾ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಪಾಲಿಪೆಪ್ಟೈಡ್ ಚೈನ್ಸ್ ಯಾವುದರಿಂದ ಹಿಡಿದಿಡಲ್ಪಟ್ಟಿದೆ, ಅದು ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ಸಲ್ಫೈಡ್ ಬಾಂಡಿಂದ ಹಿಡಿದಿಡಲ್ಪಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಟರ್ಷರಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಹೇಗಿದೆ, ಅದೊಂಥರ ಉಲನ್ ಬಾಲ್ ಥರ ಇದೆ, ಹೌದಲ್ಲ, ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು. ಬಹಳ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಪಾಲಿಪೆಪ್ಟೈಡ್ ಚೈನ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿದೆ, ಅದು ನೋಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಲೋ ಉಲನ್ ಬಾಲ್ ಥರ ಇದೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಒಂದು ಬಾಲ್ ಥರ ಇದೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಸೊ ಅದು ಟರ್ಷರಿ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್. ಕ್ವಾಟರ್ನರಿ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಹಿಮೋಗ್ಲೋಬಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಿ, 2 ಬೀಟಾ ಚೈನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, 2 ಆಲ್ಫಾ ಚೈನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಇದು ಹಿಮೋಗ್ಲೋಬಿನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಪಾಲಿಪೆಪ್ಟೈಡ್ ಚೈನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಇದು ಪ್ರೋಟೀನೇ, ಇದು ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್, ಇದು ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್, ಇದು ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್. ಆದರೆ ಇಂಡಿಪೆಂಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಇವುಗಳು ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ ಥರ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಇದು ಪಾಲಿಪೆಪ್ಟೈಡ್ ಚೈನೇ, ಇದು ಸಹ ಹೌದು, ಆದರೆ ಇದು 4 ಸೇರಿದಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಇದರಿಂದ ನೀವೇನು ಕಲ್ತ್ರಿ ಅಂದರೆ, ಪ್ರೈಮರಿಯಿಂದ ಹಿಡಿದು ಕ್ವಾಟರ್ನರಿ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ವರೆಗೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ಎ ಪಾಲಿಪೆಪ್ಟೈಡ್ ಚೈನ್ ಏನಾಗ್ತಿದೆ, ಕಾಂಪ್ಲೆಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಕಠಿಣ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅದು, ಹೌದಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಠಿಣವಾದಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್, ಸೊ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೆಲಸನೂ ಸಿಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ. ಅಂದರೆ ಅದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಒಂದು ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ತಗೊಳ್ತದೆ, ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಈಗ ಹಿಮೋಗ್ಲೋಬಿನ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಏನಿದೆ, ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸನ್ನು ಒಂದು ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕಡೆಗೆ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋದು, ಹೌದಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಕ್ವಾಟರ್ನರಿ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೇವೆ, ಅಷ್ಟೇ ವಿಷಯ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಡನ್, ಯು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್ ದಿಸ್. ನೌ ವಿ ಗೋ ಟು ದ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಎ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್. ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಅಗೇನ್, ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಟಿವ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಏನು. ಸೊ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್, ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನೊಂದು ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ, ಅದನ್ನು ಹಾಗೆ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ನೀವು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಐ ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸ್ಪೀಕ್ ಇನ್ ಕನ್ನಡ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ವಿ ರೈಟ್ ದಿಸ್ GLUT4 ಅಂತ ಬರೀತೀನಿ ಹಿಯರ್. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಒನ್, ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ರೈಟ್ ದಿ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ಸ್. ಥರ್ಡ್ ಒನ್ ಐ ರೈಟ್ receptors. Fourth one I write enzymes. Fifth one I write antibodies. Okay. Sixth one intracellular ground matrix. So these six different types of proteins present in our body is very important because they have got different functions. Okay, so that is what I have written here, functions. First one, GLUT4, very important. Please note this point. What is this GLUT4? So GLUT4 is nothing but a type of specialized receptor. Okay, so this is now a cell, any of the cell in our body. You take any cell in our body. So ultimately you have already studied in the respiration in plants that glucose is required for what? Metabolism. That is, they enter glycolysis, then into Krebs cycle, then into electron transport system in the mitochondria of a cell, ultimately releases ATP. That is what you have studied. So now let us assume that outside this cell is nothing but blood. So what is the blood containing? The blood is containing glucose. After having food, you get glucose. That glucose is now actually flowing inside your body, that is in the blood. Now the glucose has to be loaded into the cell. We need to load the glucose into the cell. Okay, so the cell is a closed system, correct? So this is what you see on the surface of the cell, that is in the plasma membrane of the cell. So what do you call this? This is a specialized receptors for glucose, and this is called as GLUT4. Got it? These are the receptors found within the membrane of the plasma membrane, and this is called as GLUT4. What is the function of GLUT4? To take intake of glucose. So this is what the function of GLUT4. What is GLUT4? It's a protein receptor. Okay, so done. Next is hormones. How many hormones are there? Okay, so there are so many hormones. Oxytocin is also a hormone. Insulin is also a hormone. I'll just go with a simple hormone, that is insulin. So where is it produced? The insulin is produced in the pancreas, correct? Okay, so what type of cells in the pancreas? Beta cells. Beta cells in the pancreas produces insulin. Insulin is nothing but a hormone. What is hormone? Hormone is nothing but a protein. So there are so many different types of hormones. Remember, all hormones are proteins, but not all proteins are hormones. Got it? Okay. So simple. Receptors. For example, you take smell receptors or taste receptors. These receptors are normally present in any of the cell, that is normally in the plasma membrane, and they take the chemical. As a result, the chemical enters into the cell, and then the chemical start working. That's it. That means smell or taste, whatever it is. So that is receptors. All receptors are also proteins. Enzymes. All the enzymes are proteins. Any examples for enzymes? There are so many actually. Okay. Recently, I have studied carbonic anhydrase. Anhydrase. Okay. Or you can also write Rubisco enzyme is also type of protein enzyme. There are so many. Okay. What is enzyme? Enzymes are nothing but biocatalyst. They actually speed up the chemical reaction. Remember that they are not going to initiate any chemical reaction. Only the work of the enzyme is to increase the speed of the chemical reaction. That's it. Okay, antibodies. Okay, so what is this antibody? Antibody is nothing but a protein which looks like Y. It looks like Y actually, alphabet Y. What is the function of antibody? There are actually 5 types. A, D, M, E, G. These are the 5 different types of antibodies found in our body, and they help in recognition of antigens. What are antigens? These are the foreign bodies where they are deadly, dangerous. For example, coronavirus is also a type of antigen which should be recognized by our antibody. Got it? So antibodies are produced from a specialized lymphocytes called as B lymphocytes. You will study this in your second PUC. Okay. Next one is intracellular ground matrix. Can you give me a good example for this intracellular ground matrix, which is the abundant protein present in our body? That is this collagen. Recently I have studied in structural organization in animals. Correct? So done. So these are the different functions of proteins. Remember, our body mainly consists of proteins. Without protein, it's horrible. You cannot even imagine a life. Got it? So this is all about from this session. Hope you understood it clearly. I want you to make your own notes. This is more than sufficient for your competitive examination. No need to worry about it. Okay. Thank you very much.